Hello, Rando fans. Welcome to another exciting ALTTPR league match between the teams They Vetoed Our Acronym, featuring the Acktheboker, and Old Swagger Jackson, featuring the Marcnificent. This is game 2 between these guys. The game 1 was actually played by my co-commentator Walter, facing off versus Gem. Walter managed to take the win off of Gem, so I think team They Vetoed Acronym and Ack are looking to tie this week up. Walter, how are you doing? Are you ready to root for your teammate?
Hello there. Yes, I'm very ready, especially since our text on the file screen here seems to indicate Randomizer.
Oh yeah,
So
this should be this should be
I think
exciting.
we're in for I think we're in for a good ride already. We also have a starting sword, which might indicate a standard Randomizer seed.
Oh
Yeah, when you have Randomizer standard, you're kind of forced to get a sword early, just so you don't get into like soft lock potentials early. We also have boots starts. That's gonna be nice for the runners, but it also means we won't see entrance, unfortunately.
Yeah. So certainly both these guys are very well versed in insurance, as well as non-insurance. But yeah, this certainly indicate this team might be hopefully on the shorter side. As you mentioned, Walter, we've got some really nice goodies starting up. Starting sword, always nice. Starting boots, sword plus boot start means fully playable game right from the beginning. And there's actually a 50-50 shot. We're going to be able to start with the flute as well. It won't actually show up here, but once these guys start and there's something in their inventory already, we're going to be able to have really fast mobility.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of interesting because you can part of the playing a mystery seed is like unwrapping the mystery, right? And you can start doing that with just the title screen, right? Like the starting sword means obviously we're not doing swordless, but it also means we won't be vanilla swords, so you don't have to focus on that part. And yeah, like the starting items overall just means no entrance because that's not implicated in that quite yet. And yeah, we do have a flute start as well.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and
Now
look.
I do believe they can't flute until escape is over, though, right?
Yes. Just because of brain state shenanigans, they probably don't let the flute be active. Although once they get out, the flute is absolutely active. They don't have to run over to Kakariko to free through the bird. But yeah, actually, Walter. I mean, this is look at this. Fully playable with flute start at the very beginning. This is going to be hopefully going to be super fast.
Yeah, this this looks fun. Single arrow from the uncle. I would like to see a normal standard when that happens. That would be hard to make it out of this gate, though. Luckily, we have that sword.
All right, yeah, okay, yeah, it looks like, I think, yeah, except this is looking like at least a normal Randomizer, may or may not be boss shuffled, we don't know yet, but we do see it looks like shuffled compasses. In this mystery features, we can have all sorts of things shuffled separately, small keys, compasses, maps, and big keys.
We have some red beetles already. They're not very scary in terms of you don't really have to kill them, but they do actually pack quite a big of a punch. A lot of these enemies will do 2 hearts here. Looks like Ack is having a little bit of a music session going on here.
Yeah, complimenting his flute playing with some bonking here.
Yeah.
All right, okay, so we saw a shuffled compass earlier. It looks like we also have a shuffled map. This one's to ice. I actually didn't catch where the compass is, but I don't really think anyone really cares about where compasses go.
Yeah, it won't matter too much, but it's good knowledge for sure. We'll see a small key and a big key soon one way or another, and we'll see if those have text boxes too, so we can figure out how much of a key standard we're playing here. So with the starting boots, they won't have to worry about the back of escape with the bomb shortage, because with the boots they can use the bonk it instead, so that's always nice to have in a standard. You don't have to worry about that farming, especially in Randomizer when farming can be kind of a little bit more dangerous.
Oh yeah, no, you actually bring up a really nice point. These are some of the less and more subtle points of starting boots or like starting swords. So this is pretty much like a casual boot start, except with Randomizer. And yeah, as exactly as you said, Walter, one of the really nice things is that you don't have to keep farming enemies to hopefully get a lucky bomb drop. And so, this is really, makes things a little bit fair between the two owners because, so long as they know that they can bonk the back of escape, there's going to be an even number of items obtained on both sides for sure.
Yeah. Didn't see a text box on that big key from the ball and chain popo. So that means we're gonna have full vanilla keys. We don't know about the small keys yet. The small key will be in the dark sewers, unless this is an unbeatable seed, which it probably should not be.
Probably, hopefully not, at least starting out in the escape sequence. Yeah, Walter, as you mentioned, like there's that ball and chain popo, like, those guys have like 8 tentacles or something, right? You would think that they would really carry more than one ball and chain?
Yeah, right?
Oh man, that anti-fairy was a bit of a blocker there for Mark.
Yeah, it's kind of scary in Randomizer to dash because you never know what you're gonna hit. Especially like climbing against tower, for example, you have a couple of rooms where you just want to dash over the bridge or something like that, but all of a sudden you might see a big spike appearing.
Yes.
Like there.
And of course, keep in mind that because this is Randomizer, oh man, Mark needs to be a bit careful because those spikes and anti-fairies are definitely, oh my gosh, much more dangerous than your normal escape enemies that do like quarter heart or half a heart of damage. Like these Bistros are, one Oko, and along with those bomb slugs,
yeah. Yeah, this is kind of scary. Ooh, Deborah hitting Mark there.
Yeah. All right, so that's yeah, that's Randomizer claiming our first victim. Oh my gosh!
Ooh.
All right. Did you see that? There are Wizros and Lionels.
Oh boy.
This is one of those times you kind of wish that there was damage shuffle as well, and it works in your favor. Jeez.
Let's see how long this escape sequence are gonna be. With the boots, we're thinking 5 minutes escape, right? Looks like
yeah.
We're past that at this point.
All right, Ack, conveniently reminded that yes, there is in fact a big giant spike there. Mark, gonna take his time. I don't think he actually ended up making it to the next room, so he doesn't know necessarily about the surprise Lionel and Wizrope awaiting him in the next room.
Mark actually almost playing a little bit too safe here, and kind of paying the price for that. Because at the top part in that room, he was safe from the Wizrope, and looks like both of our runners taking another death.
Yeah.
Both taking the death in the same place as the first time around.
Yeah, I literally just saw this like 30 seconds ago, but I didn't actually see what ended up claiming Mark's life the second time. But I know that there are lots of Dark World enemies here, right? There was the Ropa, there was the Bomb Slug, there was the Wizropes, there's the Lionels. One of the really nasty parts about like saying like an inverted seed is that you're in the Dark World like with 3 hearts and green mail. This is pretty much what we're getting here in as Randomizer escape.
Yep. All right, Mark made it through this room. He's gonna find out there's more Wizropes and a Lionel here right now.
Oh wow! Oh no, Ack did like a really nice dash, just like Mark did over Randomizer. He ended up getting the key, which is progress for Ack, but Mark was unfortunately not as lucky.
Yeah, so they don't know this right now because they can't watch the game feed like last week when we had a spoiler week. But like they're both having the same kind of issues here in the back of escape. But it doesn't feel good to start off a seed with taking like multiple deaths. You already gonna start feeling behind at that point. Oh
yeah, no, you are absolutely right. And I'm sure also the back of their these guys' minds though is like it's certainly likely that if these guys are struggling this much, like their opponent is also struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I do like Mark's little tactic there, trying to kind of keep that Tektite at bay, and then using the Bomb Slug's bombs to kind of like clear some of the screens.
Yeah, the Tektites are really scared of the sword, so you can kind of manipulate them a little bit by using the sword. Ooh, dashing into the Lionel though. I think at this point, the boots are actually more of a hindrance than a help. I think it probably would be better for runners to use the walk through this escape sequence to get a little bit more time to react to what's happening around them.
All right, Ack. I've lost track of how many attempts these guys have gone through. Ack was hoping for a heart there, but all right, he makes it through, and he is on to the next screen. Oh my god!
Yeah,
oh jeez. All right.
We're getting close to a kill room as well, which could always be interesting.
Yeah, okay, so that maybe that room only looked intimidating with all those Hinoxes, because it looks like they were actually relatively big. This kill room is really nice. There's a key, Stalfos. But luckily, it didn't throw any bones, but I think the bones only do half of the damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be very, very common. Jeez, there's a nice Wellmaster. I would not. Oh, what a nice find here in the back of this game. Yeah, I certainly will not be surprised to see Ackham taking the backwards shortcut here, so he doesn't have to deal with the rest of the enemies.
Makes sense, yeah, for sure. But we're not quite out of it yet. There's 2 more rooms left here. Makes it for this one. Next room only has 2 enemies, and one of them is a spike, so you can kind of know how to play around this. And he makes it out, and sub 9 minutes.
Yeah, congratulations, Ack. It's only, yeah, like 4-ish minutes over normal standard casual boots escape. Alright, Ack doing a bonk here for good measure, picking up his bottle. I imagine he's gonna go, take the, a pretty common traditional, common casual boot start at Sank, which is you go and check Lumberjack, do Lost Woods, and then go to Cafe Go. Let's try that again. Take 2.
Yeah, that's rough. Those enemies would one-shot at him no matter what his health was, so... Well, no matter what his health would have been with these 3 hearts here.
Yeah. Yeah, the floating skulls do surprisingly large amount of damage.
Yeah, I think it's 3 hearts in Green Mail. It might even be 4 hearts. But yeah, both runners out of escape. We'll see if they are aware that the flute is pre-activated, or if anyone actually tries to go and activate it. Yeah, we didn't see any text box on the small key as well, so it's only map and compass shuffle, which it adds 2 items in every dungeon, but it's the same requirement to beat the dungeons as normally, except for you don't need a bow for Eastern because of the Randomizer part.
Yeah. Probably like the most important thing, for these runners to keep in mind is that, as you said, there are, because only maps and compasses are shuffled, there are going to be 2 additional items, and so that'll actually potentially give some more value to dungeons, like Mire or like Skull Woods, where initially there are only 2 of them, but now there are 4.
Yeah, those are probably the dungeons that only has 2 items, or the one that gets like affected the most because the percentage of items goes up so much. Oh, it looks like we don't have a pre-activated flute.
Yeah, actually, I was a bit surprised because I thought it inverted. Maybe I saw a pre-activated flute, but maybe
yeah, maybe because it's standard, it can't be pre-activated because they could do some shenanigans that would not be very good for the runners to do.
Alright, yeah. Looks like we got some confirmation. Yeah, like that would be, yeah, this looks just like another nuance, I guess, of, all of these different customized options you can kind of talk on and off. Mark here hoping to get some bombs from the back of the tavern.
Bailed out.
Yeah, that's
looks
right.
Like, Ack, no, he's going for the shop instead, but...
Oh my gosh, Ack's gonna get bullied before he even gets in.
I like when you run... Oh, okay, we can actually buy keys as well.
Yeah, so this is like wild keys, if that's the case?
Yeah, I think it's, it might be vanilla keys, but also retro keys. So like, universal keys, rather.
Yeah. Yeah, so this actually can potentially speed things up a bit because, we could, kind of get some, we can actually buy some additional keys. Maybe the whole thing makes routing a little bit nicer instead of having to go find them in dungeons.
Yeah, you can kind of like in some dungeons even gain a couple of keys, just picking up the pots and then not opening all the doors. It's kind of nice in some dungeons, like Swamp Palace. You can use the skip picking up the pots underneath, well, where the water goes. You can just like kind of skip a couple of rooms that way.
Yeah, that's no, you bring up a really nice point. This actually, depending on what the situation in Swamp is, this actually makes things a lot less tedious.
Mm-hmm. Mark trying to buy the item from the bottle vendor without actually having the money.
Yeah, it didn't really look like our runners were really, I guess, gung-ho about trying to farm out some more rupees in this game.
I guess gonna go for a blind race game here. I think it makes sense when there's a couple of extra items that they need. Actually, they won't need any keys, so maybe it's less likely that he actually finds something here. The money one won't be bad though.
Yeah. It actually looks like, Mark's money problems are no more since he found a 300 rupee drop in the well. Yeah,
There was some interesting routing from Axe. So since he already had the fluid, he activated it first, then ran down to buy the bombs, and then did like the part south of Kakariko, and then could use flute back up to do the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe he was hoping for some extra stuff. I guess it maybe implies then that he doesn't actually want to. Maybe he wants to go like further north, or maybe just he wants to go immediately south shore.
Yeah, as soon as he's done in Blindside, he could save and quit or walk back out in Fluid. I think save and quit might actually be faster at that point. But yeah, since he had to go all the way down to get bombs, if he went with the strat that Mark did here, he would have to dash all the way up and then dash all the way down instead.
Mm-hmm.
But now he can just like save and quit from here, so I think that was a pretty smart routing decision.
Yeah, I guess it's like the little things that can potentially save a runner's time. Especially with a matchup like Ack versus Mark, right? Like you really want to try and save as much time as you can. Oh, I must have missed that. The backup blinds hut. Okay, all right, Ack farming a little bit more money and picking up his remaining footwear.
Yeah, we didn't get much except for those flippers in Kakariko. So we're gonna have to find our progression somewhere else, both heading to the dam first. We're kind of missing a little bit of money for Sora, but with Randomizer, they might not want to go for the water walk anyways, because it could be kind of treacherous. I think that's an empty bottle, but it could be a blue potion. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see with the blue water behind it.
It looked like a blue potion to me. Confirmation with that quick swap on Mark's side is that is indeed a bottle with a bee.
All right.
Letter B, not with an actual like insect bee.
Yeah.
Alright, so it looks like Mini Moldorm Cave is going to be a mini shadow enemy cave here. Mark, I think, I don't think he's in any danger of health, but it does take a little bit more time to kind of get these guys because they're on a delay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also want to save some health for the rest of South Shore here too, with random enemies. Get ourselves a shovel. And okay, pair of gloves, that's really good.
Yeah, that is our Dark World access. We just need that pearl to, kind of be able to do anything.
Yeah, right. We have access to it, but we can't really do anything. If only we had a mode that was like a normal open mode, but also inverted, so you never need the moon pearl.
Oh, that would be interesting.
There's a surprise Lionel for you.
I was gonna say, did Mark take an overworld death warp?
Well, that's certainly one way to get back to your house. See if yep, there we go, Act as well. That's the dangerous part of having boots in this mode.
Yeah, so normally, we talk a lot about, being able to, have a sword and, really enhancing the ability to be able to dash all the way around, right? Because you can just dash through everything with that sword. So, fun thing about Lionels is that if you only have a fighter sword or a master sword, they're not afraid of you. So, you're gonna run into them pretty quickly, and if you don't have enough health, we see the consequences.
Yeah, I know. Like one thing I like to do in Randomizer when I have boots is like every time I dash, hold one finger on the start button, just in case I need to like dodge like a surprise enemy. Because it is definitely very dangerous, especially when we're still in green mail.
Mm-hmm. Mark, I think maybe he, kind of heeded your advice or was able to, maneuver around that lineup in picking up his map or another map from Pure Ice Rat Cave.
Mark is gonna set up a death, not a death ward.
Another death ward.
No, he's gonna set up the water walk here. But he did walk in here to farm more money for Sora, so I think that it's gonna break the water walk though. We do have flippers, so it's not the end of the world if we don't get the water walk here.
Yeah, I was actually going to say that I did see him, lifting up this rock, and he was 400 whatever rupees, so this is certainly not unreasonable. Meanwhile, Ack, not going to lift up that 20 rupee cave, and looks like he's probably going to make some checks here, but probably just going to take a peek at the ledge, maybe, and not because he doesn't have enough money for Zora.
Yeah. It looks like he's just going to go to Hobo and then save Sora for later. Unless he swims back out of here.
Yeah! Alright, sorry. I'm glad Ack reacted much better than I did. Yeah, so, even though that spike I don't think would have killed him outright in terms of health, he is in that water walk state, as you said, and any hit would have one-shotted him.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works when he actually already have the flippers.
Oh, jeez. As you said about this danger here, there are more Lionels in the water.
Yeah, luckily there's not a lot of bad enemies on this screen here, because Mark was on 1 health here.
Yeah, I guess that's a benefit of only being on 1 heart, is that just if you're in a water walk state or big flipper state, it doesn't really matter if you have 1 heart or nothing. Everything is one-shot KO for you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Alright, so we're getting the Agin shake. It's very easy to get that one when you have the flute. It's just another compass. We've seen a lot of... Ooh, that's a pretty rough death from Mark there. Yeah, it looked like he was dodging it, and then he started pumping, I think, and just pumped right into it.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. I mean, it also looked like the red beetle didn't really move all that, had that friendly of a movement pattern for Mark. But yeah, as you said, not only is it kind of unfortunate that Mark has to kind of go back there, he didn't even get a peek at Zora's ledge. So it looks like Mark's undeterred going to try again.
Yep, and Marcus, Ack is going to set up a Houlihan here, so he's probably going to head to Zora as well. We're going to be almost tied up on checks. Ack have a couple of more out-of-the-way stuff checked so far, but pretty much taking the same route otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, and really, it's really, really hard to kind of even gauge if anyone's ahead or behind, because this is Randomizer. The number of deaths, especially looking at the enemies that that are actually present in Randomizer, I mean, it's anyone can die pretty much at any point.
Interesting. It looks like Mark actually took a reset here. He did take that death all the way up here, so he actually didn't lose any progress by doing this. And that's why he keeps his money if he needs to go to an early pod.
Yeah, especially since we saw green 20 on Zora ledge that we definitely don't need, and I think Zora was just 1 heart piece, so it's probably just much nicer to be able to keep your money, especially, yeah, as you said, early pod, but also these guys have bottles, so, and given how dangerous the world is currently, I certainly will not be surprised if they just flute to 2 and and stock up on some safeties.
Yeah, it looks like Ack is doing the same thing here. He's safe scumming that to keep the money. Although he did lose his whole hand too, so he's not going to have all the money, but he still has a lot more than if he would have saved it. Not going for saving the old man here right away, which I think makes sense with how many Lionels we've seen so far.
Yeah. And also, these guys don't have the lamp. So normally dark rooms and logic don't really bother them, but this is Randomizer, and if you die in that cave when you have the old man, you are stuck there until you rescue him. So this is especially dangerous in Randomizer.
Yeah, for sure. As soon as you pick up that old man, you're kind of committed to saving him, because saving Quaid is just going to put you back there into the dark tunnel. It looks like both of our runners might be heading into Eastern. Speaking of dark rooms, there's a couple of ones in here. And they can be quite chaotic sometimes in Randomizer. It looks like Mark is actually going to bow out for now and just head up the mountain first, as Ack did. And he looks like he's going for the save here.
Mark is being brave today. So he does have a sword, which can make things a little bit nicer in that, we see little sparkles guiding his way.
Yeah, it looks like this was a pretty good one. Most of the times, this dark room in particular isn't too bad, because most of the enemies are normally clipped into the walls because of where the starting position of the bats are. So, but there is a couple of times when you have enemies just roaming around. Looks like we are blessed to not get that. We have to find out that Mark is a jerk, and even in the dark.
I mean, if you heard an innocent bunny that tried to give you something, I wouldn't be surprised if you called me a jerk too. Oh, okay, that's a really nice safety to pick up, that half magic. We have no magical items currently to put that half magic to use, but, we're probably going to need, the Fire Rod or the King of Samaria or something like that, and always really nice.
Nice pickup of the hook shot here in Eastern. Puts a lot of stuff on the mountain in logic. So that certainly seems to be our progression at the moment. Maybe Moon Pearl on East of Mountain. Yeah, I was about to say, I'm surprised that Ack didn't just quick swap to the hook shot right away, because it's like a super good weapon to have in Randomizer. There's a lot of enemies that get one-shotted. Wow, we have a bow in Eastern too, why not?
Yeah, well, why not? Pendant Easter, green pendant Easter, just has all the progression. With that bow, I certainly can see Ack, basically just full clearing it at this point.
Yeah, maybe we get 20 rupees on Sashful as well to get that vanilla boots as well.
Yeah, so we did see a green 20 earlier, so maybe that. Oh, jeez. All right. Okay, Mark, was also just a surprise to see that spike. But unfortunately, fortunately for him, it did not end up claiming his life.
Yeah, swimming makes it definitely a bit harder to dodge that one. It looks like our first dark room is fairly vanilla here, or this. Oh, this was the second dark room actually.
Yeah, I heard a key pickup on Ack's side. Yeah, actually, so as you said, actually, this, because we had universal keys, right? Ack potentially, please be careful, Ack. Ack potentially could have actually just bought himself another key, and then actually they didn't have to go through these dark rooms in order to get that one key.
Yeah, he could have gone right away there. Wow, double pot there.
Yeah. It's like, I'm pretty sure I picked up a pot. Oh, there's another pot.
So he's going for the boss here, so he's probably going to drop down to the fairies first, get some extra health. Or actually, he might not have got the big chest yet. Yeah, so he's going to do that first. If he's planning on going to the back, this is kind of scary, because he's going to jump into the pot. And yeah, he's just going to save that for later. Because otherwise, the skulls would still have dropped here. And they would have probably killed him as he fell down the pot there.
It's kind of one of those things where once you learn that the first time, you don't really do it again.
So he's just going to go up the mountain, see what that hookshot is all about. Yeah, the hookshot is one of the most premium weapons in Randomizer, I think. It it can stun a lot of enemies, and the enemies that they don't stun, they normally kill instead. So it can be really good in like kill rooms and stuff like that, because kill rooms tend to have a lot of the same enemies, and especially if you have like multiple kill rooms in a row, like in Gannis Tower, every kill room in the same super tile normally have a lot of similar enemies. So if you have like one enemy in the first room that can be one-shotted by hookshot, it's very likely that you're gonna have more in the upcoming rooms too.
I did not know that about Randomizer. Thank you for the info, Walter.
Yeah, I think on like Gannis Tower, the climb is like 2 super tiles, so you have like 2 sections of like different enemies, kind of. Most of the times, at least. There can be exceptions for sure.
Alright. Oh man, this Death Mountain is really dangerous.
I mean, they don't call it Death Mountain for nothing.
Yeah, alright, yeah, we got a beam modes, we got a jazz hands that kind of just came out of nowhere. I guess that's their purpose. But well, you know, luckily Ack makes it through, and we're gonna see, you know, some nice 7 items here in Paradox Cave.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Mark. Unfortunately, gets you know, he was bullied like the entire Eastern Palace through those anti-fairies.
Yeah, he might just leave here. He did get the good stuff. He did get the bow and the hookshot.
Yeah, especially, you know, this is a pendant dungeon. You know, we don't even know what our goal is because we haven't even been able to get to the Dark World to read those signposts. You know, so I certainly, you know, would not blame. I don't blame any of these runners to just kind of, you know, take their items of progression, you know, and then see, you know, what they else they do. They can always go back.
Mm-hmm.
And if they need to go back, of course, it would be really nice if they could get a lamp before so.
Yeah, we might even see a Hera play here and get our first potential crystal.
Yeah, that's true. We don't even know what our pendants and crystals are because we have shuffled maps. You know, we did end up finding Eastern was the green pendant after we talked to Sahajlo, but yeah, that's kind of about it. I guess we have an early influx of compasses because that was another compass on Floating Island. It really does feel like we found most of them.
Yeah, for sure. There's like, what, 11 of them in total? We must have found more than half at this point.
It's really dangerous. Small key catch. Alright, Mark kind of using some of his bombs here, his game knowledge that if you bomb a Hinox, it is a one-shot kill. That is significantly faster than swiping at him like 9 times or something with that fighter sword. Ack, with using the Kataverna in order to get through that spike, really nicely done.
Yeah, because when you take
on your
damage,
feet.
yeah, when you take damage, you lose your spin speed. So it's definitely good thinking. Would have been kind of rough to get past there otherwise without a safety weapon.
Definitely one thing, you know, I've watched Ack do, you know, multiple times through through playing Seas, is that he is very conscious of, you know, kind of his own, what he thinks his own abilities are. So he's definitely not afraid to kind of, you know, get up more safeties like while he can. Like you see him, you know, using that bug net to catch a fairy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely going to be useful. We've seen both runners take a couple of surprise deaths so far. So having that extra safety, you know, pretty much having an extra life, definitely worth it in this mode, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, you know, I see some confirmation here in chat. We did end up finding our Dark World maneuvering item, which is the Moon Pearl in its completely vanilla location. So this is going to be good for, you know, Mark and Ack. After they finish Hera, you know, they're going to be able to, you know, go through the Dark World proper.
Yeah, very nice. We'll see if both runners decide to start at Hype Cave and then move their way up to the pyramid to gain access of what the goal is. Seems to be one of the more standard ways of doing the Dark World starting route in Mystery. We don't know about boss shuffle yet. We did have a vanilla boss here, but there's definitely potential of boss shuffle still. Don't think we get full confirmation about that until we get into Thieves Town. See if the maiden is there or not.
Yeah, so given how many Dark World enemies we saw in the Light World, do you think Dark World is gonna have a lot of Light World enemies? Maybe, hopefully.
Maybe
You know,
it's just filled with chickens everywhere.
oh my god, that would be awesome. It's like these guys are playing in inverted C, just not actually inverted.
Yeah, maybe this is what inverted was meant to be.
Unfortunately, it looks like Mark only had 1 heart of health and upstairs of Hera. I didn't actually see if he ended up being sniped by anything, but I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you're sniped or not.
Yeah, it was
Here's.
nice to kill some Mario there right away from the spike cave.
Oh,
yeah, he got
wow.
hit by a what they're called again, a chain jump. That Ack
There was a chain jump up there?
Yeah, Ack got to skip that chain jump by doing the Herapod.
Oh my gosh.
You know that little Kristen that has 2 mold arms just has like a big chain jump guarding it instead?
Oh, that's awful. Initially I thought I was like, oh, like this is actually kind of like a dangerous Herapod to, kind of get over there because of that spike. But then if there's a chain jump up here, that's even worse.
Yeah, here we have him. He's guarding mold arm. It's kind of like almost extinct at this point because of Link's nature. Definitely have to be guarding them as much as we can. Hype K not having really anything of value. But it does put us on the path up to the pyramid. We'll get 1 item there, and more importantly, find out what we need to do to beat Ganon.
Yeah,
I think the minimum requirement here when it's not entrance is at least 3 crystals, or at least like 3 dungeons in terms of potential pet goal.
Yeah, and certainly, having the game knowledge objective is very, very important. Because you really don't want to, be able to end up trying to clear crystal dungeons if you don't need to, or pendant dungeons if you don't need to.
Yeah, knowing the requirement definitely could change the way you play out the rest of the seed. If it's a really low crystal requirement, you might skip stuff you normally wouldn't skip.
The fire bar also was not kind.
All 7 crystals, but it is fast Ganon though.
Yeah.
But that does not leave out a potential Ganon's Tower, because Ganon's Tower could be less than 7 crystals to enter.
Yeah, another kind of benefit of the customizer or being able to toggle different weights or options is that you can customize not only the number of crystals or goals you need to speed the game. Yeah, you can also customize however what the crystal entry is for a GT. Mm-hmm. We actually don't know that. There is a sign right next to GT, but these guys don't have access to that area quite yet.
Like checking this shop here for a potential of getting a couple of small keys. This shop, however, did not have it. In when you have like generic keys or like retro keys, I suppose. It's not guaranteed that every shop is gonna offer it, but every shop has the potential of having it. I think there's like at least 2 or 3 guaranteed ones.
Looks like Mark chose the other avenue of being up here in the mountain doing Spiral Cave. Not as nice payout as Axe Spike Cave, but it was a red item in that it was 20 rupees.
Yeah, I think Spiral Cave actually makes a little bit more sense because that's the more difficult one to get back to. But yeah, Spiral Cave or Spike Cave probably going to be quite isolated for Mark for some time now that he has so many better options.
And certainly, we don't actually necessarily. Oh no, we know that Maya is a crystal, so we do know we eventually will need the cane of Samaria. But it is a late game item, so it's not like Mark is really hurting for not getting the cane right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he won't really need it until he gets Mitts, and Mitts will probably put him up to the mountain anyways in somewhat fast fashion because of the extra checks being available up there. Then you also want to like check what's how many crystals for Ganon's Tower.
You are absolutely correct. Yeah, and we also haven't seen the book yet, right? So there's going to be like other motivators for him to go back mountain as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ack. First of our 2 runners into Dark Worlds. Looks like his next up after Hype Cave and the Pyramid Catfish check is going to be potentially fully. Oh, we don't have the Fire Rod yet. Oh, jeez. what a mean room. It's going to be the back of Skullwoods here.
Yeah, at least Kane is going to make this room a lot less painful. Don't want to be dodging red guards and wall masters at the same time, if possible. Yeah, I think going into Skullwoods right away here makes a lot of sense. There is 2 more items, so it's very likely we'll get 2, maybe 3 items in the frontier.
Yeah, and Ack has the hookshot as well, so and the King of Smart, so hopefully this will be like an easier time for him.
Mm-hmm.
That spike though doesn't look very friendly.
It does not. Luckily, we have half magic and the King of Burna.
Oh yeah, you're right. These guys both have the King of Burna, so that is a really good. Is going to be a really nice safety. Hopefully, these guys can also find the cape because it's also another invincibility item that doesn't lag as much. At least so far, the King of Burna has been proven quite useful on Axa in order to let him do Parapot.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Mark is going for a pretty spicy play here, heading over to Palace of Darkness. A little bit more scary, actually a lot more scary, when you don't have a lamp in Randomizer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but for all we know, the lamp could still be just sitting here in pod, right? Meanwhile, Ack ends up finding the Titan Spits out of Pinball Room in Skullwoods. That is going to be some really nice access for him.
Yeah, very nice pickup. Going to be able to route the Dark World a bit more efficiently with that, and opens up a lot more potential future checks here too.
Yeah, looks like just gonna check that ledge, bumper ledge, not gonna be anything. Certainly, no mirror means we can't end up doing graveyard ledge or King's Tomb. Speaking of which, there's the cave pin pod. But at least Ack will be able to have the option to do the King's Tomb the next time he saves puts to Sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the only kind of worry is that if he ends up doing that kind of early, then he may or may not actually isolate Graveyard Ledge. But given that they don't really have a mirror, maybe it's not a major concern for these runners.
Yeah, we know the mirror is going to be available at some point because of Swamp being a crystal, but there's no guarantees it's going to be early.
Mm-hmm.
I think this King of Burna, I think this King of Burna is going to come in very handy for Mark soon, because the Dark Rooms are definitely intimidating, but when you have the King of Burna, that helps a lot. You can just walk through the room without dying, and it also kind of gives your position as well as the sword would. And half magic definitely helps that as well. I think they have a green potion as well.
Yeah, I think both of them ended up tossing in their empty bottle into the Waterfall Fairy in the Light World.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I think Ack actually resetted that bottle.
Well, that's right, because he ended up catching a fairy later with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did find the mirror here. First chest in Feast Town. Very nice pickup.
That'll actually then make his North Dark loop. Potentially he can go back to North Dark World and do Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb if he so chooses. So now at least those two checks won't be super isolated.
Yes.
Every time I look over on Mark's side, he's on 1 heart of health. Maybe this was intentional though. In order he can deathward back.
Yeah, it might have been, or probably half intentional at least. Maybe took a couple of hits on the way and was like, well, I might as well use Death Warp at this point.
Yeah, so much for Light World enemies kind of being here in Dark World. Even though that that Green Igor is a Light World enemy, he still does 100 damage regardless, so it's not exactly like he was a friendly guy. Surprised
that Ack decided to leave here instead of going to the back. Back at Feast Town could be a little bit intimidating sometimes, but you could just go to the boss room first, see if it's boss shuffle, and if it's not, maybe go to the back at that point. It's fairly likely it could be a crystal too.
Mm.
It looks like he wants to complete some of these overworld stuff first.
Yeah, and
get a little bit of better gear.
Yeah, and given that he actually just picked up the mirror in Thieves Town, right? He can and he has the myths from Skull Woods, where he can be very efficient in his South overworld checks, where he can go pick up the smith and turn it in. He can do purple chest, K45. I think he can also check the shovel if he didn't already do that. But this is going to be like really efficient for him.
Yeah, like imagine living a life as Ack, just walking around,
living like Ack.
like every turn you go. What a life that must be.
Oh yeah, and not only he can dash us all the way through.
Right.
Oh, see another kind of nice perk. Oh, okay. So Ack got mugged like the second time, but at least in this scene, the thieves are killable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doing the hammer picks is always kind of awkward when you have random enemies. Because normally there's just dead chickens here.
Meanwhile, Mark is being incredibly brave here, but I think it looks like Pod Dark Phase, and with Randomizer, we see lots of friends for him.
Yeah, luckily he had a lot of the enemies in the maze that are actually being visible. So this will help him not only to avoid them, but also in this case take a death ward back out.
Unfortunately, I've not seen anything else that was kind of major in Pod in terms of pickup.
Yeah, not that I can think of either. We are gonna go to the boss here, see if we can get anything interesting there. And I think that's where the Cane of Burner might come really in handy. If the kill room is something extremely annoying, just turn on that blue cane and just let that do the work for you.
This is actually a good point. In Randomizer, those enemies in that kill room are no longer turtles, correct?
Yeah, they will have to be something that you can kill with pretty much anything.
Oh my gosh, people!
So Cane of Burner should be able to kill whatever is in there.
Alright, we kind of see Mark demonstrating that these are no longer mimics that you need to kill with the bow. One of those mimics ended up turning into a rat, which is that's a light world item you want to see.
Actually, well, rats in the dark world.
I guess, yeah, then never mind. That's not you want to see, because parts of damage, right? Like, they're like the crickets.
Yeah, that's the only light world enemy you don't want to see in the dark world.
Even though these guys have looks like 9 hearts and 10 hearts maybe between them, it would be really still nice to be able to have a blue mail or armor upgrade.
Yeah. Yes, like the blue mail will just keep them so much more safe. Keep finding compasses.
Yeah.
When we think we were out of them, we just keep finding more.
It's like maybe they invented like new dungeons just kind of on the fly for us. Alright, demonstrating again that you can't dash into Lionels without taking some damage.
Alright, Mark is now activating the blue cane here. Surprised it took this long, to be honest. Get a couple of hearts back though, at least.
Yeah, as you said, right, like that room, the fact that there were lots of visible enemies was also really nice, right? Because we saw basically 4 mini Moldorms, so we can actually just walk right into them with a Cane of Burner, instead of trying to like hunt, right, in the dark rooms to see if you end up killing everything.
Oh, and we do have boss shuffle, so Ack definitely could have gotten probably a pretty easy dungeon complete in Thieves Town.
Alright, so how well practiced do you think Mark is in his NMG strats here for a land mob?
Yeah, it's kind of awkward, because normally in NMG you want to dash into the wall to get a good position. It's kind of a little bit harder to do when there's filled with spikes there instead. If only the Lamulas took damage from the spikes.
Yeah. I mean, he does have a couple options here. He has Cane of Burner if he wants to use it with half magic. He has a hammer if he also chooses to use that. Given that he maybe only has 1 more, he only has 1 heart left.
Yeah, he has to be... Okay, he gets it done.
Yeah.
He gets it done, but he had to be a little bit careful there, because 1 heart It was even potential one-shot situation there if he got a hug instead of a stone hit in the face. Swamp starting off good with some pokies and chain jumps.
Yeah, kind of upgraded. Oh my gosh. I was gonna say, kind of some upgraded guards here, you know, given when the original ones were just 2 stealthos.
Yeah, again, and definitely making some improvements on the guard personnel here.
Alright, looks like Ack is gonna choose to do left side first.
Yeah, so even if the next room here is really bad and he can't do diver down, it won't really matter because he has the universal keys, so he doesn't actually need that key. So he's not even going to go for the diver down, he's just going to go around. So we have universal keys. When do we get universal compasses and maps?
Yeah.
You just get one map and you have all of them?
That would be awesome. Yeah, you introduce like a master map, right, or like a master compass. You just get one of them, and then you're just done for the rest of the game.
Maybe universal big key would be nice. Go to a shop and just buy all the big keys right away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, where are we gonna get shop sanity in ALTTP?
So Mark is going back for the spike cap here. That's good news for him. He's gonna get the King of Samaria. And then it's quite likely he's going to go on somewhat of a similar adventure that Ack has been on right now. We got a vanilla big key in Swamp. So going left side first definitely seems worth it.
Yeah, actually, and you know, so Mark doesn't actually have the mids yet out of Skull Woods. I was actually thinking, you know, where Mark could end up going. One additional option Ack currently has over Mark is that he has Mire access.
So I guess actually with map and compass shuffle, I think you never skip left side swap here. Because there's only like one dungeon item, so there's always going to be at least one item on left side.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that earlier. Actually, like after I watched Ack go to left side swap, I was like, oh, that's right. Yeah, we do have shuffled maps and compasses, so there are always going to be 2 more items in dungeons. But we can always count on some compass being in this dungeon, right?
Yeah, surely we can't have very many left now, right? There's gotta be like 2 at most left. It's gonna be its next 2 chests. Right, so Mark is going into Frontal Swamp, so he's gonna get those Titan Smiths. Probably gonna be pretty happy about that. He also knows that it's boss shuffle, so it's very unlikely he's gonna skip the boss in Feastown. Then just watch it be like Trinix instead, and you can't beat it anyways.
You know, at least it's very fast to be able to get back to, and it's good game knowledge for him.
Yeah, he'll have a mirror in there as well, so you could just mirror out if there's something you can't beat.
Yeah, and given that I was gonna just finish up my thought on Ackside and Swamp. Given that he was planning on full clearing the entire dungeon, it looks like he actually did take the fastest route, which is you go left side first, then go down to do compass chest, and then you do the back.
Mark taking a fall there decides to continue though, which is good. Otherwise, he would have been probably a little bit sad skipping those myths.
All right, Ack is fortunate that he not only finds out that this is boss shuffle, he finds a boss that he can end up killing quite quickly with the bow.
Yeah, good thing we found that. Oh, another surprise beam in the bush here. I think all of these bushes are just like transformers or something.
Those are some of the best Decepticons I've seen. Luckily, I was very fortunate for Mark. Having gone up the mountain to pick up his King of Samaria, he also has at least a slightly easier time, with that back room.
He's gonna check out what Meyer is right away here. If he has access to go in, I would kind of probably assume he will, because he has the blue. Oh, I didn't really catch what
Yeah,
medallion
I have
that
no
was.
idea what that was.
But yeah, he has the blue cane, which will help in the dark rooms. But also, like, the dark rooms aren't too much different. Like a couple of the hardest ones are pretty much the same. Sometimes even easier because you might not have that annoying spike there.
Oh, that is a really good point. It looks like Ack's gonna at least take a quick dive here into the desert. He has the mirror, he has the boots. You know, he can probably take a quick peek. And as we've seen that it is a mapped and compass shuffle, there are going to be 2 additional items here.
Yeah, so he's gonna get every item except for 1 guaranteed here because no keys can be on the boss. So that's like 3 quick items to get here.
All right. So at least we get some comfort in that we have 2 red guards and we have 2 chickens.
Yeah,
very
it looks
interesting set of guards.
Every chicken has a red guard protecting them. We are not slashing these chickens today.
They're some of the most valuable chickens. You know, maybe they also lay golden eggs or something.
That would explain why we had so many red guards in Kakariko.
Yeah. Alright, Mark picks up his mirror here in Thieves Town. Yeah, so I certainly would not be surprised, you know, as you said, it's probably just gonna do the first front 4, go take a peek at least the boss, and you know, if he can beat it, it's gonna be his next 3rd crystal.
Oh, we have a glitched out thief here. You always get like 1 or 2 enemies that get like a little bit glitched out in pod. I think it's the same glitch that makes Bob in Gannis Tower because of the item on the torch. Looks like we are gonna go for the back here as well. It is guaranteed to be an item, or we're just gonna actually pick up the key to have an extra key for a dungeon later on.
That's actually some really nice key stealing, right? Because in this case we have universal keys, you know, and so that key isn't necessarily always tied to desert, right? So, you know, if Ack wants to eventually go back and beat desert, he can always just go buy another key.
Yeah, there is also a potential that, like, Ack might not be aware that all small keys will also be vanilla. So he might think that he will need a couple of extra keys in dungeons because of not finding enough keys in them. Which is probably why he has checked a couple of extra shops to see if he could buy some keys. But it definitely seems like all the keys are vanilla, as well as extra universal keys. Mark is going to the back here before checking the ball, so he might forget that he don't need to rescue the maiden. Or he might just bank on having to get these items as well.
Right, so we're also kind of see, you know, one of the downsides of having the Cane of Burna, specifically in that Randomizer room. There is quite a lot of going on. You know, definitely see kind of the game speed slowing down a bit. But you know, the important part is Mark didn't die. That, and you know, dying here kind of before even like bombing a wall is going to be quite a time loss.
Yeah, well, that definitely gives it away. He has forgotten he cannot save the maiden because there is no maiden.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Thanks for reminding me that. All right, Ack, he remembered that Armos was not, in fact, Argus. So we are going to have a nice, you know, fun, easy Moth fight. Moth not being on conveyor belts and no spikes means he's a pretty easy target, especially with that hammer. Yeah,
it looks like the maiden went through some pretty crazy metamorphosis instead of puberty.
Actually, you know, speaking of the fact that we only have the hammer as our, you know, main, I guess, high damage weapon, where are our swords?
That is a good question. They're definitely not vanilla. We know that much. Yeah, they would probably like to find 1 or 2 of those, especially 2, so they can start dashing into Lionels. so we are going to see this graveyard ledge paired into...
Yeah, probably King's Tomb.
Yeah. That's the name.
Actually, so yeah, and meanwhile, okay, so Mark is gonna take on Mothula relatively shortly. He did end up finding a book in the attic chest of Thieves Town, so that will open up a couple extra checks for him.
Yeah, probably not required, but it could be. So that is definitely an edge he potentially has over Ack, because I expect it will be quite a long time before Ack goes to the back of Thieves Town at this point, with already having beaten the dungeon.
Yeah, and especially, Ack has a lot of, open options for him. It looks like we're not going to take a dip into Mire. Most likely, my guess is that we don't have the medallion, even though we didn't actually get confirmation.
Yeah, I would figure the same with his decision making here. And I think it makes sense for our runners to focus the dungeons here. You want to do that before, like get as many crystals as possible before you get up Death Mountain. Mm-hmm. So you like kind of maximize your chances of being able to go into GT when you go up there. But it's always a little bit scary going into dungeons when you don't have all the items to beat all the bosses. So far it's only Trinex, but surprise Trinex in a place like Ice Palace, for example, could be quite rough, because you're gonna pretty much have to do the dungeon twice at that point.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely correct. So at least with Icebreaker, it's not as bad to get to the boss, but yeah, like it's not if you have to kind of redo, get all the way to the end of the dungeon and then finally have to redo it, it's never a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. I'm expecting. Oh, okay, never mind. I was gonna say I'm expecting Ack to skip hitting the switch here, because we already have the big key and guaranteed have enough small keys at this point.
Maybe it's just muscle memory.
I mean, this way he can save some keys. That could be on his mind, especially if we're working through the potential scenario of him not knowing that there's vanilla keys in the dungeons.
Mm. That was a pretty fast Icebreaker there on Ack's side. It would be really nice if these guys found powder. Really can make the anti-fairies a lot nicer.
Yeah. Oh, did Ack grab that bomb? It almost looked like it, but I don't think he did. It looked like he used to block the bomb.
There's so much going on in Randomizer that sometimes you don't even know what you're picking up or hitting until something dies.
So there's one of our keys. Yeah, looks like he's gonna bomb jump over here and get this chest too, and then go back to the big chest.
more Randomizer fun. I guess at least you can see the enemies beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun for the whole family here.
Ack needs to be a bit careful. He is still only on green mail, and he doesn't even have 10 hearts yet. Ice Palace is really not any dangerous.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he used the potion there. I think he still has the fairy. And I think the potion is potentially more useful.
And given that Ack has a flute, and he has a ton of money, maybe he thinks that he just used the potion now, and then he can always just flute back over to 2 and just buy some more.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Palace of Money, I guess, is what Ice Palace is today.
Yeah, I think normally that's pod, but not today, it looks like. Oh, this is an interesting room.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you can not take damage, or I guess maybe you can. It's just gonna slow down this room a lot.
It's probably just not worth it.
All right, what do we have today? a vanilla cool stare. Interesting.
Yes, we love to see that when you have the fighter sword only. Well, I guess we have the hammer, so that seems a lot better than fighter sword. Now that I think about it.
Yes. I would really like to have something that we can actually use our half magic with, other than that Bravo's medallion. But Ack is doing, a pretty nice job here so far. He got some nice spins there on, with the fighters we keep in the corner, and geez, these hammers are.
Right, he's in one hit KO mode now, using another blue. So I'm thinking maybe he doesn't have that fire still. I kind of missed what the Bombos medal. Yeah, the Bombos tablet here was.
It was just couch catch. That's what I
Okay.
saw. Yeah, so certainly nothing that Ack's gonna miss. But on Ack's side, that was a very nicely done cold stare on fighter sword and hammer. Getting hit once. But geez, other than that, those guys went down.
Yeah,
not gonna get.
It was such a high stake boss fight there. I needed both eyes on that screen. Looks like Ack is gonna head into Potter as well here. So we're kind of gonna retrack what each has done here while Mark does the Swamp Palace and Ack heads to Pod. Say Ack probably in the lead of such as he will probably find progression before Mark, because I'm guessing Mark is probably gonna head to Ice Palace after this as well. And Ack is kind of likely, I think, to go to the mountain after this, which is a pretty good chance that we have progression up there.
Yeah, it certainly looks like on Ack's side, he has kind of cleared out he's nabbed all the crystals that he can, not in the mountain. So, and yeah, as you said, because we actually still don't necessarily know what the crystal entry to GT is, there are 22 items right in the basement, and if GT is open to us, like that is certainly very open for progression.
Yeah, it's like we potentially have access to beating Tutrock as well at this point, because as long as there's no Trinex, we won't actually need Fire Rod to beat it, because we have the extra keys from outside. So we can actually, as long as we have the medallion, go through the entirety of Tutrock as well.
Yeah, and actually, at this point, we still don't know if Turtle Rock is a crystal or not. At least according to our tracker, it's going to be a toss-up between Skull and Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the mountain trip would be like, take the overworld first, then maybe head to Gannis Tower if you have the ability to go inside, probably do that. And if that's not it, just do Tutrock instead.
We're just going to see, Ack coming into the Palace of Darkness here a little bit later than Mark. He does have the mirror, so his routing in pod is going to be a little bit nicer and more convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, looks like actually Mark is going to follow in Ack's footsteps and potentially full clear this dungeon. I'm going to assume that he also is going to realize what you said earlier, Walter, about universal keys here, and he doesn't have to necessarily worry about doing Diver Down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's always kind of scary in Randomizer doing Diver Down, especially if you don't know what the room looks like in advance. Sometimes you can have really pretty disgusting dive down rooms there with like wall masters and spikes and stuff. Like this spike would be a big annoyance for sure.
Like that guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Going into the right side of this room to grab one extra fairy here.
I noticed that Ack knows a lot of fairy rooms and dungeons.
Yeah, that's the interesting part of like mystery. It definitely tests like all aspects of your game knowledge.
Actually, a pretty friendly pod bridge there. Normally, in Randomizer, you can actually get spikes, and those are incredibly annoying to deal with.
Yeah, we even had Redguard there practicing his hammer jump as well there.
Maybe somebody should tell him he's a couple pixels too high.
Yeah, you're just a tiny bit too high. Yeah, I think, except for the mountain, we might have seen everything that potentially could have progression at this point. Well, I guess we didn't see the boss in the desert. That could potentially have something.
Mm-hmm. I think we also, at least I didn't catch Act doing right side desert either. But maybe he did, and I just missed it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay.
I think he did everything except for the boss in there. If it didn't, that would be a very odd skip to do, because that's like half of the items in there.
If only we had picked up the desert compass before Ack went in there. Like, I feel like of all compasses, like, why didn't we pick that one up?
Desert compass can kind of trick you sometimes, though, because most of the times you don't pick up what's on the torch.
Oh, that's true. Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, I skipped an item.
I don't actually quite remember what was on Desert Torch, but I definitely did not see Ack pick it up, so probably wasn't going to be worth his time. Luckily, luckily, yeah, I was gonna say, luckily we have picked up the compass to pod here. We actually do see 13 and 14, so Ack has indeed full clear this dungeon, so he's just gonna go back and find his Lambo fight. So I did actually see him practice some bow Lambo, so maybe this practice will pay off for him.
We'll see if he goes into full NMG brain and just dash into those spikes there.
Meanwhile, Mark taking down Armos, having exactly the number of arrows he needs. Very, very convenient resource management there.
Yeah, it's very good that they got that single arrow from the uncle then.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lag on Ack's screen here from the bomb guard. Adding those extra sprites. Alright, so it looks like Mark is gonna head over here to my area. Maybe we'll get to see the medallion this time around. Looks like Ether, so vanilla medallion to get in.
Oh, look at that mire shed. I didn't even notice on Ack's side, but normally the mire shed is kind of annoying to dash through, right? Because you have the sparklies.
Mm-hmm.
But this case, thank you for being red guards, because those guys are totally trapped.
Yeah, because like the fire dudes, what I don't know what those fireballs are called. They're just fireballs. They start on the right side, so like every like the enemies in Randomizer, they normally have the same starting position, which is why sometimes they're like trapped in walls and stuff like that. So you pretty much always can use a dash right through there, unless you get really unlucky and get like vanilla enemies or something. Not sure why Mark took the time to kill that enemy just to walk out again, but maybe asserting some dominance here in Desert Power.
I'm wondering if he's trying to get some more arrows, maybe? I guess I don't know. That would
Yeah,
be the
that
only reason why.
Could be it. There's like a million pots in here with arrows, though.
That is true. Yeah, so maybe, especially NMG runners know right after Armos, you definitely still want more arrows, so there are lots of, as you said, arrow class NMG runners kind of know like what to pick up on their path.
Mm-hmm. And Ack is going with the strategy we're talking about here, going with the Cane of Burna, which is actually really effective against Lamo because they don't have iframes, so you can just get like a lot of hits in at the same time.
Yeah, especially you can kind of like, if you can get them bunched up a bit, that's just even more value, right, for your master usage. I also did like what Ack did in the kill room. So this wasn't available to Mark because he had not picked up the Bombos medallion, but in that kill room with 6 different enemies, Mark had to chase those mini Moldorms around, but Ack was able to just use his medallion, and then because it was Bombos, just ended up burning everything. Really, kind of like very efficient use.
Yeah, the medallions are really strong weapons in this game mode, especially Bombos, because that usually kills everything. while Ether sometimes just freezes it, and Quake honestly doesn't do much. You stuns them or transforms them.
That is
Yeah,
that's
Bombos is really good. Okay, so Ag is heading up the mountain now. Very likely we'll get some kind of progression in here. Pretty sure Mark is gonna follow him after being done in Ice Palace. We're gonna get a couple of our final questions done here. How many crystals do we need for Gannis Tower? Is Turtruck a crystal? Can we enter it? Stuff like that.
Yeah, are we gonna find a sword or two? Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be a little bit beneficial at this point.
Speaking of beneficial, we still haven't found a lamp. Where is that lamp?
Maybe it's in Turtruck, and it looks like Mark decided to go for the Bombo strat here. Not the most normal enemies to kill with Bombos. Could have used that one-shotted them with the Sword of Hookshot, but I guess that works too.
Yeah, and one kind of annoying thing, at least about those Desert Palace enemies, is that I think you have to wait for them to spawn first, right? Otherwise, you can't kill them with bombos. Oh, good. Wait, so we get to see another great enemy swap here in Hookshot Cave with spikes.
Big
and that firebomb.
Oh, there's a fire rod.
That is a good find for Ack.
There's our boot or flute. Alright, good usage of the blue kin here. A little bit sad we can get the fire rod before Turtruck here. Would have been nice to see a Turtruck without a fire rod.
or fire rod in Turtle Rock. Well, okay, I guess we're not going in because we need either for both our Dark World dungeons today.
Alright, so extremely likely we can enter Gannis Tower here, and also extremely likely that our progression is in here as well. Looks like it's 4 crystals to open it, so good on our runners to try and get as many crystals as possible before going up here.
Yeah, and given that Ack has also picked up the fire rod before he entered GT, he has pretty much all of the basement available to him, right?
Alright, that makes sense why. Well, it already made sense to skip Lemo or the boss in Desert, but it made even more sense because they didn't have a fire source.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hey, there's our second sword at an hour and 15 in. in GT after 4 crystals. Like Ack is also opting not to do tile room first. That's certainly fine. This is if we're gonna do some normal-esque GT routing, this is kind of hope room first. Yeah. And if you have a small key, then you can keep going full right. But because we have universal keys and he had a bunch of them for pod, this looks like a pretty normal GT routing game. Speaking of which, so there are 2 swords in GT.
Ack also skipped that key. I think he's starting to figure out that he's not going to need a lot more keys at this point, and he can start skipping a couple of checks from it. Ooh, bad death there from Mark in Ice Palace.
Did you happen to catch what room he ended up dying in?
Yeah, it was that room back from the Ice Tea room, so he got hit by one of the 3 swords by trying to dodge the rest of the enemies.
Oh, that is that is rough.
But yeah, I definitely like the routing from Ack here, because like normally there might be a discussion of like which route in Gannis Tower is best, but when you're not in go mode and you're searching for items in Gannis Tower instead of the big key, you definitely want to take the route that gets as many chests as possible before Ice Armos, because you don't want to find the key like on the right side after being on Ice Armos and then have to go all the way back again for the big chest.
Oh, you bring up a really great point, Walter. Didn't even think about the fact that we had Ice Armos, and that is actually another boss that can be shuffled.
Yeah, not only that, but you also want a key for the big chest as well.
Yeah, that big chest is not convenient to get back to. And so I did see that Ack ended up finding the QQT and her lamp.
In Dinosaur.
Wow. I mean, I guess, I was even wondering, like, can lamp actually be in here? And I think we only had one crystal, right? That required Dark Moon, which is Pod. So technically, if we end up getting Thieves Town, Ice Palace, Hera, and Swamp, yeah, then we only needed 4 crystals into here.
That certainly seems to be the logic. So we are 1, maybe 2 items from go mode. We need Ether for sure. But we're not sure about that Ice Rod yet. But that's like the 2 question marks at the moment.
Yeah, and I think we still need confirmation for which dungeon is a crystal, and which is a pendant.
Yeah, since Ack has the Fire Rod, he might just head to Skullwoods first. He'll get 2 items, I think. He'll get at least 1 item. Got a fur 20 rupee there, so this might actually be hard mode. Which would explain why we don't have any mail upgrades yet.
That is an excellent point.
Okay, Argus on ice it's a little bit annoying, especially in green mail. You kind of have to be a little bit careful here because you still take 2 hearts, and you kind of need to plan ahead a little bit so you don't get like spotted by him. Yeah,
and this is very much to your point, Walter, that you said earlier. Is you try and do as much checks as you can before that room, because Ack was on Fighter Sword when he came in here, and now he's on Temper Sword, right? He ended up fighting 2 swords in GT.
Yeah, and there's our 4th 20 rupees. I think it kind of confirms we have to be on hard mode here. We won't see any mail upgrades at all.
So did Ack skip the big chest?
I think no, he checked it before the boss.
Oh, okay. I just must have missed it.
Yeah, it's a pretty common tech. If you're not in go mode, it's usually faster to check that first, and you can use the mirror after beating the boss on ice.
And given that Ack does have the big key, I guess I'm curious to see whether or not he wants to climb the tower. He doesn't need to beat Aga 2 to beat the game, but there are still 5 more items up here.
I like how Ack is just hitting the tiles with the boomerang and switching boomerang for each tile.
So he did this on one of the previous seeds that he ran for League, and he was a bit miffed that none of the commentators pointed it out. So I'm really glad that you did so, Walter, this time.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of playing if you can't have any fun? Sometimes things don't have to be optimal. Sometimes you just want to have a little bit of fun. Mark is in a pretty tough spot here. He's at 1 heart, and his magic is about to run out. And
Walter.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty likely to happen because you kind of get stun locked for a split second when the magic runs out. So he didn't have a chance to move at that point, and he's just gonna come back later. Probably head up Ganon's tower. Luckily, he did beat Past Darkness, so he can still go into the tower. Maybe grab some potions and try again, or just grab some potions before Ganon's tower.
I mean, a Fighter Sword, Hammer, no Fire Rod, Cold Stare is really not an easy fight. I mean, Ack made it look really easy, but we kind of actually see, just even the slightest thing about one of those Cold Stare pucks getting away from you, I mean, can really make or break your fight. Yeah,
you're at 13 hearts, and 1 hug takes 4 hearts, so you don't have a lot of room to maneuver there. Ack doing the basement of Hera to get his 4th sword. Very nice.
Yeah. Very, very optimistic there for you, Walter. I don't know if that fight's really gonna get much easier for Mark, honestly, because we saw that the rest of the 2 swords were in GT, right?
Yeah. Well, he's gonna get those swords though.
Oh, that's right. Actually, yes. If he does GT in this case, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a hard time thinking he's gonna skip GT. Oh, I love having Hinox in this room.
Yeah, thanks, Hinox.
I'm really glad we get to see the climb. because that's like one of the most fun parts in Randomizer. I think at this point it makes a lot of sense for Ack to do it. His options are very limited at the moment. If he leaves the mountain right now, there's like more stuff up the tower here than like the combined of the rest of the world at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is for 5 items being up here is definitely his most item dense location. Actually, yeah, and meanwhile, Mark is actually going to be able to give us an additional check, which is the Ether tablet, because he ended up picking up that book from the back of Beast Town.
Yeah, that would Vanilla Ether would definitely be something he would need to bail him out a little bit at this point, because he's definitely a bit behind. He is pretty much an entire basement again as tower behind, and also have to go back to Coaster again. Oh, Mark, use fire rod it. You gotta fire rod.
He doesn't want to spend that menu time. Yeah, those floating salvos. I mean, they have a lot of. Their health is quite high and they do a lot of damage, but at least I guess they move slowly. Oh man, this is a very welcoming Randomizer gauntlet room for GT.
The point where you just switch to hookshot instead. So there's like a lot of enemies here you can use one shot with hookshot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those shadow guys especially, because you can actually hookshot them, before they kind of appear. So you don't have to necessarily wait for them to, to reimagine.
You can even take out the Pengators with hookshot too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, are you ready for for a Trinex here?
I'm ready. Let's see this.
Rip.
There's no Trinex. Yeah, and unfortunately, we also didn't see any. Oh wow, is this vanilla? Because most likely caught momentarily off guard to be like, oh wait, I can actually do this like the normal way.
Yeah, you don't expect it.
Yeah, unfortunately, so this is, in my opinion, one of the lesser desirable changes, because with the Cane of Samaria and the 3 Wizard's place, it's quite satisfying, right, to place a Samaria block and kill everything. But Ack still has Temper, so he can just slash through everything anyway.
Yeah, you just take out the Cane of Samaria and go for it anyways, hoping that you one-shot everything. Maybe there's like triple Popos instead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's a very good point.
More realistically, I think having hookshot or like fire rod or something like that out, it's probably a bit more safe.
It looks like Ack here maybe potentially wants to save some magic, and then he doesn't have to pick up this this refill.
Yeah, he'll get the refill.
Enough, right?
Yeah, this should be enough for sure. I think he can even miss once or twice. All right, top of Ganisaur, what do we have? Rolling Medallion. And okay, that's gotta be our first sword at least.
Maybe it's our 5th sword, Walter.
That's a good point. The legendary, the black sword.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. At least we had some warning about that roller.
Oh, don't get stuck here, Ack.
Yeah. It's really not a good feeling when you ended up getting pegged. Never happened to anybody.
Looks like we had another Molder in there. So this could be simple boss shuffle. Oh, there's our Ether in the legendary final chest that no one knows about. Definitely not a meme chest, at least.
Alright, so it looks like the climb was absolutely necessary. So hopefully Mark, after, whatever his basement, ventures are, he will eventually choose also to go upstairs. Now he can certainly do what Ack did earlier and, kind of leave GT temporarily and do, either tablet, Hera basement if he hasn't done that already, and come back. But, if he ends up leaving the mountain without doing upper GT, it would definitely not be good for Mark at this point.
Yeah, so this is potential go mode for Ack. I would kind of be interesting to see if he decides to skip anything in here. Just hope that he's in go mode, or if he's gonna full clear it, trying to guarantee getting the ice rod before going to the boss here. it kind of looks a little bit like simple boss shuffle, because the only duplicated bosses we've seen so far has been from Gannis Tower. In that case, it would mean that one Trinex is in the pool.
And we haven't seen the bosses from most of our Light World dungeons, right? Like we haven't seen Eastern, we haven't seen Desert.
Mm-hmm.
Ack is taking no chances with these guys, making sure he pulls out the Key of Burda so he doesn't end up falling.
Yeah, that's a nice part of quick swap. You can kind of do that without getting punished. So Mark did go full right side here. I think he did it actually even before going left side, so he doesn't have the big key. Luckily, there's nothing that he needs in the big chest. Well, there's that armor upgrade, but...
yeah, I think he actually did end up doing a Stealth Post room.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense then. Oh, and Ack...
I think that was a floating head.
Yeah, Ack was like, the one time I don't activate Cane of Burna on a platform, I die. Never again.
Man, this... Where is this powder, man? He's getting bullied by a floating Stalfo's head and a chain chomp and then an anti-fairy.
So did Mark check the Ether tablet?
He has not done that yet because he hasn't left GT yet. But he didn't do that, I think, before he entered GT.
Okay. Yeah, I would expect him to do it before the climb at least. So like Ice Rod on that Ether tablet would be the big thing that could swing this race back around again.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think Ack looks to be in a pretty comfortable position right now.
Yeah, so yeah, it looks like it's gonna be the moment of truth. Is we're gonna once we come up to the boss of Turtle Rock, we're gonna see what if we're gonna go on a traditional Ice Rod hunt.
Yeah, it could even be like a surprise Trinex on Vetrius as well.
Oh, that's right. We haven't seen that boss yet either.
So yeah, he's taking no chances here. He's gonna full clear all of Turtle Rock just in case.
Yeah, I mean, what a nice mimic cave here. Yeah, and especially, you know, like, this is not going to be that much extra time, right? But in order to come back here, if you think you need the Ice Rod, it's going to be so painful. I guess I didn't see enough on Mark's screen if that death was intentional, but it looks like he's going to continue on.
Yeah, I think he was like a little bit low on health already, and then he kind of missed his hook shot, but maybe it was for the best because now he's gonna have more health doing this. So I don't think it was intentional, but it's not gonna... That death didn't hurt him too much because he was like kind of close to the entrance already. Sword number 6, found in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, when are we gonna get a strong enough sword to be able to one-shot Ganon? That's my question. Okay, that was a surprise roller. Man, even picking up that lamp, sometimes though, this conveyor belt room can be, you know, still quite surprising.
Yeah, nice spike there as well.
Wow. Yeah,
it's one of those rooms where you just pray for no spikes when dashing. Taking the safe door, I think makes sense. You're in green mail, so you don't want to take any death here. He's at what, 5 hearts? Yeah, so if he got hit by a laser, that would give 4 hearts in damage, I think, and then probably falls off as well. They get a heart refill right away after taking the safe door, because of course, why not?
I mean, this is basically like an MG, right?
Yeah, except not very close to energy at all.
Yeah, all right. So it looks like as you kind of postulated earlier, after clearing the basement, Mark is gonna at least temporarily leave GT. Gonna take out some of his kind of easier one-off checks here, like here at basement. I can see him doing either tablet after this. Oh man! All right.
Looks like we're gonna need to find that ice rod. Well, the good thing is he could save his portal here and just go for Meyer. And if he finds the ice rod there, could just head back again. Oh, he's also going to do Spiral Cave. We haven't done that for Ack yet. So he's going to do that first and then probably head to Meyer.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say, like, so he took the safety door, took the portal, he's going to do Spiral Cave, and then if the ice rod is still in Meyer, he can still keep his portal and then just come right back.
Yeah, so this is the part where you're glad that it's hard mode, because you're always going to have green mail, which makes saving the portal easier.
Yeah.
I think no matter where the ice rod is, they should be able to save the portal. It's just going to be a question of how time-consuming is it going to be. Ether Tablet has...
another green
7 sword. Rip. Well, that's good for Mark, though. Oh, no, that's good for Ack, though.
So it's certainly good for Ack if he never checks the tablet, right? So he's gonna go do Meyer soon, after these kind of easier checks. But Ack also hasn't done the back of Easttown, and so if he doesn't find anything there, he could end up going there. And then if he pulls out the book, then the tablets are pretty isolated from him at this point. So so if he kind of ends up going back and does those tablets, I think it'll actually be a little bit of time gain for Mark because he was able to do them more efficiently.
Yeah, we also have some interesting stuff happening here. Mark decided not to climb Gannis Tower at all and left, so he's gonna search for that Ether Tablet here in Skullwoods instead, and then probably go to Desert searching for it. Well, probably it goes back to Ice Palace too.
Oh,
that
yeah.
part he would have to do, but yeah, this is not good for him. But he could find Ice Rod here, which would let him be in go mode whenever he goes back up. But I still think it's not going to be enough. I think Ack probably gets to Skullwoods if it's here, for example, before Mark manages to get back to GT again. Because Ack doesn't have much to do after this Meyer year.
I was actually curious if, one maybe difference between Mark and Ack is that if Mark ends up finding the ice rod before Ack, as in it's not here in Meyer, then maybe Mark can go mode Meyer.
Yeah, that's
and Ack has to kind of go through all the chests, including the cutscene one, because I really can't see him skipping it at this point when he's searching for the ice rod.
Could be another Trinex in here too. That would force him to go back to Meyer a second time as well.
Oh,
you know what? Something that we never did check is that you remember super early when none of the runners decided to go for back of Eastern.
Oh yeah.
Still have 2 items back there. One from the boss and one from Sandra as well.
That's right. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, this is fun with 4 hearts.
At least Mark has Temper Sword at this point. Oh.
Yeah.
That is not an easy fight.
I think he should have just activated the cape or Kinaburna right away there.
It's at least in the back of Skullwoods, and it's not terrible to get back to time-wise.
Yeah, it's definitely faster than like going back to Vitreous when he's in Meyer.
Yeah, and I think Mark also has like 3 potions or something, as safety, so he should be okay.
Yeah, he might not have realized he was in 1-hit KO mode because he has like 4 hearts, so he doesn't have any heart beeps. So it kind of gives you a false sense of security sometimes.
Yeah, the fact that we have so many hearts, but we only have 3 now, as you exactly said, the heart beeps don't end up kicking in, so it's really easy.
Oh, jumps back in and lands on the small eyes, taking 4 hearts right away.
Yeah.
kind of hard to get spins in here because the conveyors is like kind of sometimes pushing you into the spikes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be careful. He's running out of magic. So yeah, he's gonna
doesn't-
pop one of the potions here.
Yeah, I think I saw him maybe pick up 2 blues and a green.
Yeah, I like this approach
yeah.
a lot more.
Also, the fact that there's so many things going on in this room is really good. He has used the cape and not the cane of Burna because people are just gonna have more lag.
Yeah. All right, nicely done the second time in here. I got to do Meyer in like the somewhat like the fast full clear mode, kind of, where he could just go to the left side right away. Unfortunately, he didn't get a big key over there. But there's the ice rod though.
There is the ice rod. Alright, so Ack is going to be quite happy. He is in go mode now in 1 hour 38 minutes. So he just needs to finish up this dungeon.
And he goes back because, yeah, he doesn't have that big key yet. I was like, oh, I guess he did get the big key. Kind of weird routing to go here first then, but no. Alright. Alright, that's good. Ack is the fool and not me. Everything is as it should be.
Yeah, I was actually just even thinking on Mark's side, you know, if we hadn't found the ice rod on Ack's side earlier, this was actually going to be another check, at least visually, that Mark was going to have over Ack because Mark has the book. But we did actually just see that there was, I think, just money on pedestal, so certainly, I mean, we already see that also we have the ice rod on Ack's side, so there's going to be nothing of value.
Yeah, I'm wondering where Mark is going now. He might think there's item in Aga Tower.
That is certainly. Oh, yeah, that's possible. But we know that there are. It's vanilla small keys, even though it's.
Yeah, this can definitely throw runners out of the loop for sure. I had the same settings in my race, and it definitely was confusing because you're not like 100% sure. Ack trying to do the spooky glitch, but there's no anti-fair state there.
Oh yeah, unfortunately you can't land any fireball shots, or fire rod shots on these fireball chain things.
Ooh, Mark is gonna continue after getting the first one, just to be extra sure here.
Ack does a really nice job of actually dodging that anti-fairy. Have our second Armos fight.
Yeah, I think can almost safely assume it's a simple boss shuffle at this point. The simple boss shuffle has all the same amount of bosses that you normally would have, but just like in different locations. There's our powder.
Yeah, nice. There's our powder. Super useful. Yeah. Super useful. Yeah, exactly.
We're
even like literally one item
in Turtronk. We might not ever get to see the powder be effectful.
Yeah, because okay, so Ack's gonna just find whatever item or enemies he can do to cause him the most amount of damage.
Yeah, almost none of the enemies in the first room here actually deals damage, but he managed to find at least one that does.
Yeah, that's good. You know, so normally when people try and do death wars to save their portal, they just go find a Muraldactyl, here because they do 3 hearts of damage, but that's not really available here in Randomizer.
Yeah, the one time you want to take a death in Randomizer, there's like nothing that deals damage. Mark is going back for Eastern Palace. Very unfortunate. But I think it makes sense though. Once you leave Death Mountain and Gannis Tower there, you kind of commit yourself into last location in it.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, this is the green pendant, right? So there's an item on Armos and there's an item on the green pendant turn.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they haven't gone back to Ice Pass yet, because it is a crystal and you will have to beat it at some point.
So I guess maybe from his perspective, he thinks that there's 2 items outstanding. One for Ether and one for Ice Rod. So maybe he just thinks that he just needs to go to item list locations. Yeah. But yeah, like once he goes back, there's definitely an item on Cold Stare for him.
Oh, that's right. I'm running the wrong way a little.
Oh, that's okay. So
into the portal at the top there.
I totally forgotten that Mark, I guess, ended up taking a death prematurely in Eastern, so he didn't actually end up getting the big key. So actually, there was one more item.
All right. But then he leaves after getting that instead of the boss too. Right, he's gonna head back into Ice Palace. He's gonna complete that. But at the time of him being done in Ice Palace is probably when Ack is gonna be done with the seed. So definitely, unless something catastrophic happens, looks like Ack is gonna take this one.
Yeah, Ack was able to, use the portal if he saved earlier. This is a hopefully routine fight for him. With especially with half magic. Try to exit this down.
Gets the map. Rock in Rock.
Just when I thought that we had run out of all of the maps and all of the compasses, we still managed to sneak another one through me.
Yeah, he should have mirrored out as soon as he got that map to see if Rock was a crystal or not.
Yeah. Alright, 7 crystals in hand. We have achieved Ganon's goal. He just needs to flute over and make his way over to the pyramid.
Yep, looks like we're going for portal number 5. I believe this is the fastest way to get to Ganon if you don't have the Aga portal open.
Because the other option is flute to 4, right? But that seems slower because you have to still go all the way down, activate the portal, and then go all the way back up.
I guess with quick swap now, it makes it a little bit faster than it used to be because you don't need to do these extra mini. No, you would already have the hammer equipped anyways. So actually, that doesn't really matter. Yeah, this should just strictly be a little bit more efficient.
I was thinking that, hey, maybe Ack can go back and beat Aga 1 just for that portal, for that time save, right?
Right, gets the trident spin in. So it should have been a good setup here for a 1-on-1.
It's kind of a really nice, corner-ish.
Yeah, has to be careful though. Does drink the potion just to be safe. Yeah, he was trying to quick swap and slash at the same time, which can be kind of awkward sometimes. So he didn't really get his menu to the hookshot quick enough.
Yeah, I was actually wondering if he wanted to actually quick swap over to the cape and just not take any chances and kind of slash at him while he's invincible, especially since he has half magic. But he's got potions. I think he also has a fairy, so
I think so. Still, yeah.
Confirmed that it is hard mode. Despite even after we've seen all their green 20s, that Ganon Silver's hints means that they've never existed in the seed. Alright, Mark having a significantly easier time with Holster on Tempered Sword versus Fighter Sword.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a world of a difference when it does the same damage as the Tempered Sword, but you can, when you use the hammer, but you can spin with the Tempered Sword, and you have longer reach. It's just way more efficient. If only we could do a hammer spin.
Especially that's
all right. So it looks like Ganon is dead, and Ack is gonna take the win in this race.
Yeah, get your GGs out for Ack, finishing in first place with an official time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 33 seconds. GGs, Ack!
Yeah, definitely big GGs.
Alright, looks like we have also been. Mark has also been informed that Ack has indeed finished the race with the fact that he has standstill. So it looks like he has chosen to not complete it. So get your GGs out in chat for Mark. Definitely was a trooper for the seed.
And it looks like we are joined by Acktheboker as well. GG's, dude.
GG. Thank you.
Did you enjoy this seed as much as we did?
I don't know. I think I rolled my eyes so many times during the seed, I might have given myself a concussion.
Well,
there was a lot of just like, come on, man.
Check, Mike. You guys hear me?
Yo, welcome, Mark.
Hey.
GG's.
Yeah, GG.
It's quite silly.
So, we appreciated the boomerang swapping in GT entirely.
No, I almost died doing it, so I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was a banger of a seed already from the start. I think both of you there was like maybe 20 seconds in between in your escapes. You definitely both had a couple of issues. Mark had like the second room where he kept dying, and Ack had like the third room where he kept dying. It's like he took turns dying pretty much, but that's kind of what happens in Randomizer sometimes. The escape sequence can be kind of brutal.
I think, well, they both were like RNG rooms, because I mean, like the second room, you had like 2 lanes, and you had a dead rock, a whiz robe, and a bomb slug. And it's like, I mean, if any one of those moves a certain way, like you're screwed. And then the next one, you had, good old Lionel in the way, and then everything else doing basically OCO damage, because I don't know how you were supposed to get through the second room without taking a hit.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, very carefully is how you do it.
The boots were kind of like a hindrance as well, because you both wanted to dash, but it ended up you like sometimes dashed into a couple of those enemies instead.
I don't know. I felt like rolling the dice was faster than, I don't know, like trying to kill a bomb slug with a fighter sword while, a dead rock or a whiz robe chased me down. I did go back and look at the escape on the VOD just to see where we were at, Mark. Like, I got out a little bit faster than you did, but then I immediately went and died to the the floating skull, like right after I got out of escape, and then we were basically like in sync after that.
Yeah, pretty much.
But then the rest of it, yeah, we don't. Yeah, let's not talk about that.
It was okay, I guess, until the end. Like, I don't know. Once I found out I could potentially get so many crystals, at least I thought I could, because I kill Moldorm and Hera, and I'm like, all right, cool, boss shuffle's not on, no big deal. And then I'm like, well, I can do Swamp, Ice, and Thieves, and I do the boss and Swamp, and I was like, wait a minute. This isn't good. But the only thing I couldn't kill was a Trinex, and I realized I maybe was only missing a fire rod at that time, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do as many crystals as I can, and before I climb the mountain to make a play on GT. And so doing the GT climb there even felt fine for what I had left.
Where was there a Trinex? I didn't even actually
it was vanilla. That was so, I don't know, that pissed me off, dude, because like, all right, so you get Ether upstairs GT, right? Good old low-hanging fruit turtle rocks just sitting right there. And I'm crunching the numbers in my head, and I'm like, man, it's kind of likely that Trinex is probably in here, but like also I'd like to finish the seed today. So I did check, I think, every chest but the vanilla big key chest, and I saved my portal. And then, yeah, of course it's Trinex, her. Whatever, leave, and I go do Meyer, and the ice rod's in Meyer. But it's like, you get Ether and GT, are you just going to be like, no, I'll just go to Meyer, no big deal?
Absolutely not, no.
Freaking jerk, man.
Yeah, what a jerk. Jerk of a seed.
Well, the key part is being able to save that portal, though, so like going into Turtlerock didn't hurt too much. And
then the first medallion in Helma was Quake. Ether was on validation chest. I get Quake up there. Her. Again, I was eye rolling quite a bit this seed.
Well, we definitely enjoyed it. It was an interesting seed to watch.
Yeah, you had some really nice boss fights, Ack, especially on Fighter Sword and Cold Stare. Like, I think you took one puff, but one puff's worth of damage, but like you were able to like bunch them up really early and got a lot of camera hits in.
Yeah. I was being really cautious with my safeties too. I guess escape rattled me or something. So I was trying to be as safe as I could. I know I grabbed quite a few fairies with bottles once I finally found the mirror, and then I got rid of all of my fairies because I was going to do a a save scum on the portal and got potions instead. But I don't know. You just never know what you're going to run into, and I knew I wasn't getting a mail upgrade this seed, so.
Yeah, dying a lot didn't. Yeah, that kind of made me make dumb decisions after all the dying. I just felt like I needed to maybe make some gambles and go to places that you probably wouldn't go to, like the back of Skullwoods. I don't know. Maybe I tried to make a play back in the Eastern, and I was like,
you guys were like fairly synced up. You did the Dark Roll in a different order, but like you still did like the same like strat of do the overworld and try and get as many crystals as possible before climbing. So I think Ack was still a bit ahead of you, even if you didn't take the coaster devs. But the coaster devs definitely like changed the.
Oh, you died to coal. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Like the one big difference in the Dark World was that Mark went to the back of Feast Town, but Ack didn't. But other than that, you did pretty much the same Dark World, but just in different orders.
Yeah, I thought I was Galaxy Brain. I was looking, I was like, man, I know what 4 crystals are right now. Or, no, 5. I knew what 5 of them were. And I saw Thieves Town, I'm like, it's a pendant. You know it's a pendant, it's always a pendant. And then I left, and then K45 gives me the map of Thieves Town, and it was a crystal. I would if I would have known Thieves Town was a crystal, I would have done the back first, the first time I was in it, because I did not know that it was boss shuffle.
Yeah, there was a book in the back there, so that was like a big question mark for a long time.
Oh.
If that would have been required, then that would have definitely like spun the race around.
Absolutely, yeah. Ether or Ice Rod or anything from the book would have been really, really annoying. I really did not want to find the book. I was like, please don't give me that. Don't make me do all this weird stuff. But sick GG's, man. This division that we're in is really nice. I don't know. There's going to be like 6 teams that are all within one game of each other. No big deal.
It's extremely tight at the moment. There's a couple of teams that haven't played yet, but yeah, it looks like the top 6 teams are going to be like 6 points
at most 2 games. But if I don't know if they're playing each other or not. But like if anybody splits, like literally it's going to be a 5-way tie for second, and then first is 1 game ahead of all the people in second.
Yeah, definitely looks to be the case at the moment.
What happens in that case?
We
play tiebreaker.
We'll probably forfeit and just let somebody else go. We'll be like, whatever.
At that point, everyone just pings Sphere Agent in the lobby and says, "Fix this, please."
Well, I'll do a multi-world together. Whoever finishes first. But
like maybe a Door Rando as a decider game.
I mean, do you just want to advance, Walter? Is that what you're telling me? Nobody's gonna beat you at Door Rando. You're a god. Walter is a Door Rando and Overworld Glitches god. So everybody fear him when it comes to those 2 things.
I think that you're thinking about Kyong right now.
Well, he's implied just god status on like I don't know any subject, but I said God with a lowercase g. That's the one I was referring to with you.
Yeah. Well, anyways, GG's guys.
GG's.
You have anything to add before we wrap this up?
No, thank you for commentary restream tracking. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for commentating. I hope I put on a good show, regardless of how poorly I did. And yeah, GG.
Oh, it's definitely always really fun to watch you race. So thank you so much for taking the time to give us a great show.
You're welcome.
For sure.
Certainly, But best of luck to both your teams. In the last 2 weeks upcoming.
Yep. We do have But this is, I think, the first game for today. We do have a couple of more coming up. I think the next one starts in about an hour on this same channel, and then we have more matches going out all the way until the very late one at 2 a.m. So yeah, definitely check out the schedule if you want to see some more mystery, because the mystery week is almost over. Next week we're gonna have all dungeons, or also known as best mode. So that's gonna be interesting too. Yeah, make sure to follow the runners. Thank you, Clearmouse, for commentating with me, and thanks to our tracker, Sokol, as well.
Yeah, no, thanks. It was fun, Walter.
All right, I guess that's it for us for now. Have a good night, and yeah, next game in 1 hour on this channel.